everyone! As you may have guessed from the title of this video, I wanted to talk about libraries and how great they are. Also, if you watched last week's video, the reason that I look and sound the same is because I'm filming this in the same setting. So if you want to know if I'm doing any better, watch my last video for my health updates. They're not serious, but it just kind of is why I sound like I'm dying. Just a note that I'm too lazy to like change my appearance for this video. So yeah, I'm looking the same. What's it to you? Okay, let's get into this. This video is a teeny bit different from the topics I normally discuss on this channel, but at the same time, I do believe that there is enough crossover in my audience. Also, September is National Library Card Sign-Up Month, as well as the month that has Banned Book Week. Obviously, I'm very close to the end of September, so I am sorry a lot of this has passed, but we're still on theme, we're still good. We're still here, okay? So I wanted to talk about some of my personal experience with the library and what I love about it, as well as why you should get a library card, okay? Okay, so if you watch my live streams, which you should, by the way, I go live on this channel, so check it out. You may know that I am now a librarian myself. Okay, well, I'm a library assistant. I think you need like a master's degree in library science to be a librarian TM, but I do work at the public library and I do the tasks that most would associate with a person working at the library. So I help guests and I find books, you know, host some programs. I kind of thrive in a library, what I'm trying to say, even if I don't have that master's degree. I've been working here for around 2 months now, and since then I have basically been reintroduced to the amazingness that is the library. Not only am I reminded of what I loved when I was younger about it, but I'm also being introduced to like so much more, and I kind of just wanted to share this enthusiasm with you guys. So first, as I mentioned, I used to love the library as a kid. I was actually not a big reader when I was younger, which might be surprising for how much I read now. I didn't start reading for fun until middle school, which meant I missed out on a lot of reading reward parties. Does anyone remember AR points? Because was never me. But yes, I went to the library a lot when I was younger. My grandma has always loved reading, and I remember she used to take me to the library all the time. It's funny because, again, even though I wasn't the biggest reader, there is like a universal joy in being surrounded by books. I also liked it because it had a play area for kids, and my library had a big pirate ship, so that's always a plus. As I got older though, I didn't find myself going to libraries except the one at my school. Even then, I don't think I spent too much time at the school library. I'm sure the library had open hours, but at least in my school, we didn't have the free time to really enjoy the library during the school day, and then I had to catch the bus before and after school, so yeah, there just wasn't like a lot of time to use the library for anything other than like a quick like class trip that was for 5 minutes, right? Like, we're going to the library, choose a book, and then we're leaving. We have 5 minutes, guys. That's my experience with the school library. Now, I do have very fond memories of the Scholastic Book Fair. Like, that was peak childhood. Though I recently saw a tweet that was basically like, the Scholastic Book Fair didn't inspire a love for reading, it inspired a love for shopping, and I think that is also very valid. In college, I definitely started seeing the library as an amazing resource. I basically lived there most nights, and I am very comfortable with library database searches, okay? Still, this was only the library on my college campus. Though I became a regular at my college library, I still was not like paying attention to the public library, and I feel like I'm not crazy for saying this, but private college libraries and like public libraries do have, I think, a different vibe and like have a different feel. I feel like you have a different purpose for them, etc. So at college, I mainly used the library as a location just to study, but now I constantly want to read. It's also a great place for resources and programs outside of just like academic things. So after that long overview of my personal library timeline, let's talk more specifically about why I love the library and like what kind of surprised me as I'm being reintroduced. So this might sound redundant, but there's so much media at the library. Of course, we all know that. It's common sense, right? But for some reason, and this might sound dumb, it was hard for me to grasp like how much modern media the library has, if that makes sense. Like in my head, I always think that libraries are just kind of filled with old books from either like the 1800s or unpopular early 2000s novels that like no one really reads, but they are constantly staying up to date with new and popular releases. Like I don't know, it's just some reason in my mind, whenever I thought of like what the library had, it was always like dated material. Not only are the libraries getting like new popular releases, they also are getting like new unpopular releases. Unpopular might not be the best word, but like books that are not just bestsellers. Like I feel like I go on Goodreads or Storygraph, and every time I find a book that looks interesting, I'll search it up through my library database and I'll have access to it. Like it's the most like obscure sounding book, and I'm like, oh, that's really crazy that you have it. And I'm not just talking novels, but we're getting new comic books and new manga. There's also CDs and DVDs, and like, again, this also might sound stupid, but I guess I didn't know that they like were still making new DVDs for modern day shows and movies. Like, especially since we live in such like a stream heavy world, I'll like see a movie and I'm like, I thought that was streaming only, but like, no, I could get a DVD of that. That's crazy. And like, maybe this is just me, like this might not be up everybody's alley, but I, one, love analog media. Like I just find it so much more enjoyable. And like, I know that I also just personally have like a DVD player still and a CD player still. Like I just enjoy throwing on a CD or throwing on a DVD. Like it just makes me feel so much better. Like honestly, it's just so much content and like modern content that I feel like I would be fine with like no subscription services anymore and just having like DVDs from the library and like YouTube. I will keep my Dropout subscription because that's special, but like every other subscription I feel like I do not need, and I don't have. They're all in my parents' name that I still use, so that's still on me. But like if I had access to all the different subscription services, I would tell my parents to cancel them, but they're not mine. So this is a long awkward tangent now. Okay, so I do have a small little like side story, but I promise that it's relevant. So like a year ago, a couple of years ago, I don't know, a while ago, I signed up for a Showtime subscription just to stream everything everywhere all at once. And then I forgot to cancel the subscription for a couple of months. So it was around like $10 a month for just like the access for one movie that I wanted to stream. So I basically spent like maybe $30 in total because I forgot to cancel my subscription. So I do say that is on me, but no matter what, it was like still behind this paywall. I had to subscribe. I just wanted to watch one movie once, and I was like, oh, I have to fucking have a whole subscription service just to watch this one movie. Anyways, I found that this movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, is available on a free streaming service that I have access to for free with my library card. And so it just really hurts to go like, oh, if I just remembered about my library card, I could have just watched it and streamed it to my family for free, but I spent $30. So yeah. Another reason is actually the opposite of having access to new media, but it's having access to old media too. I feel like there are old movies and TV shows that are impossible to find anymore, especially with all like the craziness that is like streaming rights and whatnot. For example, I think about Batman, the Brave and the Bold like all the time. I know it's such like a niche thing, but that's my show that I think about a lot. I first watched it when I was really young on Netflix, but it is no longer on Netflix, guys. It is available on other platforms, but I don't have a subscription to those platforms. Like, I don't really want to pay more money for it just to forget to cancel my subscription, as I talked about. Like, even, for example, I think it's available on Hulu, and I have like a basic Hulu subscription that came with my Spotify student subscription. So I do have like a Hulu account, but it's not high enough. I need like a premium subscription on Hulu to be able to watch Batman the Brave and the Bold. And same with Amazon. I think it's on Amazon Prime, like video, and I have Amazon Prime, but like whenever I go onto Amazon Video, I need to actually enroll in like another subscription service to get it because it's like another premium thing. And I'm like, hey, I don't want to spend money for one show that like I don't even get to own, you know? However, all the DVDs are available at my library for free. Like I could watch the whole series again for free on DVD on my library. So yeah, like, it's just so less overwhelming. As I mentioned before, I just really enjoy like analog media and collections in general, and it's really nice to have access to new stuff as well as feeling nostalgic and having access to like my old favorite shows and books. Like, it's just really nice. As I mentioned, I have also been inspired to read a lot more lately. So it's just a good feedback loop that's happening, because I'll see all of these books, I'll read one, I enjoy reading it, and I want to read more, and then I can go back to the library and like read more. It's just a thrill of having an unlimited amount that I can go through and sample. And as I mentioned before, it's free. And so maybe you're hearing all of this and you're like, Malia, that's great, but I don't want to have to step out into public. Or maybe you're not interested in like physical materials at all. You're like, I don't want to read a physical book. However, having access to a library card also opens you up to a world of digital materials as well. Like, you have access to a lot of ebook libraries such as Libby. My library also has Comic Plus and Hoopla, which is basically like comics, shows, TVs there. There's also Canopy, which is the free online streaming platform for libraries, and it's the one that I mentioned that has everything everywhere all at once. There's also access to other databases that are just like informational. There are sites that I can't really think of the particular name for, but they're basically function as like Skillshare, and there are just resources to take some like skill courses online. All libraries are going to differ from library to library in terms of like what they have and what they offered. Some may have more, some may have less. No matter what, my advice to you is to check out your own local library, because it might have a lot more than you think it does. That being said, in my library system, we also offer like even more resources. Like, you can check out cake pans and knitting hooks and kayaks and tints. We even have a creative studio with podcast equipment and 3D printers that you can use. There's access to like free button makers. We have this like machine that basically you can go in for free and take like VHS tapes and it will make it and like digitize it for you. Again, all of this is like free access. For the longest time, I think I just kind of had this mindset that I don't need to go to the library. And I guess I still don't like need to. Like, I personally don't need the library or like relying on it completely. But like, I am pretty social interaction averse if I can help it. So if I wanted a book, I would just kind of be like, oh, I could just buy it. Or if I wanted to watch something, I'm like, well, I guess I'll just like find the streaming service. But this has just kind of like opened my eyes to how nice it is to like not do that, right? I should note that it doesn't even require that much social interaction. Like, most libraries will have some sort of online system that you can search for and even place items like on hold online. Like, it's just a whole new resource that is, again, free. Also, as a person who is actively working on creating more shelf space throughout my house, it's so nice to not be burdened with more books. Like, of course, if it's a life-changing read, sure, I would love to have that book on my shelf. But I have books that I absolutely have hated and I still have them on my shelf because I just don't want to throw away a $15 book, okay? Like, I'm too lazy to try to trade it or sell it, and I'm like, well, I'm stuck with this book that's taking up room on my shelf, and I'm like, how great would it be if I could just like have checked it out and then like have given it back? Another thing that I find so magical about the library is that it is one of the last few third spaces that we have, at least in America. So if you don't know what a third space is, it's basically like a place that's outside of like work or home that people can go and just kind of exist and be and hang out and do things. And it also, you know, is not like a business and that like necessarily like requires some sort of payment or makes you buy anything. It's truly just a place for people to hang out, read a book, be online, talk to friends. You could go in there and bring a coloring book, you know what I mean? So yeah, so you don't even like need to be a member to use the library too. So that's pretty chill. It also just hit me how much like libraries add and give back to the community. So like where I live, we actually have multiple different library branches all around town. And we're all part of the same system, but a lot of different locations. And where I work is one of the smallest locations, and it's considered a neighborhood location, which means that it's very like community focused, very integrated into like a small like community and neighborhood. And like a lot of the people that come in, you get to recognize them, they recognize me, I recognize them. They'll come in and I already know, like, you want to go onto the computer here, you want to print something here, and they'll know me. And it's just very like nice to like have that community and see a lot of people enjoying kind of this space. Most libraries have a lot of programs, which are basically events they hold. They vary, but it might be a book club or a craft session or a game night. And again, once you leave the bubble that is like school and academia, it's nice to have a place to interact with and like mingle with the community. Like, it can be really hard, I think, anymore to feel like you're a part of a community, especially without school or anything that like is forcing you to like be in a community, you know. So it's just nice to like have a reason to interact with others that is not like just strictly like business. Probably go on about this, but I don't want to be here all day, and I quickly realized that I have not found the best way to structure everything I've wanted to say, so I'll cut this off before it becomes too much of a ramble. Okay, I wanted to end this video just talking about a few reasons why you should sign up for a library card if you have not already. I know I covered a lot of the main reasons that I think libraries are special and a magical place, but I have a few other selling points for you. Obviously, a lot of the things I talked about before should also help convince you, like if you're interested in just media in general or like want to actually get on Libby and stuff, because I know for the longest time I did not know how to access Libby. The first is, of course, that most public libraries should be free for the most part. I don't want to speak on behalf of every single library out there, but it should be free. Anyways, the way it should work, or how my understanding that it works, and at least the way it works at my local library, is that it is based on where you live. So if you live in an area with a library that is serving it, some amount of your taxes will go to that regional public library. And basically you get a card because you're probably paying anyways. So yeah. The second reason is that you may get extra local benefits. Like at my library, we have deals with other local businesses, and sometimes showing your library card will get you a cool discount. For example, for me, my library card will get me like a free mini golf session and a 20% off at the stationery store. Also, I didn't mention it earlier in this video, but like my library also allows us to like check out like passes to the zoo or to the museum and like things like that. The final reason is that it's literally just continues to support the library. Libraries are important to serve as a knowledge base as well as just a safe space and free resources for people who need it or just want to enjoy it. Also, if you're already a fan of this channel, you probably love consuming media as much as I do, so it's just kind of more fuel to like fuel your fan heart, okay? So thank you for making it to the end of this video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Please like and subscribe because every number really counts for me, ha ha ha. Hopefully next time we see each other, I will have gotten over my sickness and I will no longer have a sty in my left eye, okay? So maybe I'll look better, maybe I'll sound better. But anyways, I will see you next time. Or maybe not. Bye.